Welcome back to day 3 of our first week of Phase 2 of HGC Korea. My name is Wolf. With me, as always, is G-Clef, and we're starting things off with Mighty versus Miracle. This is going to be the two teams that both defeated RRR 3-0, now facing off against each other.
That's right. They both had some roster changes, 2 members to be exactly, on both sides, and now they are facing each other. And this is an important one because they are all looking for the top 3 spots, and they're all counting in MVP Black to be within the top 3. And maybe we'll have both Mighty and Miracle, but up next we also have Tempest. I think Tempest is also looking for the top 3. So this match matters the most, one of the most hyped matches for these two teams for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see which one of these two teams with the rebuilt roster ends up coming up on top. The winner of this, if it's a one-sided one, will almost guarantee themselves for the time being for week 1 the first place spot, of course, in the rankings. So going to be an exciting one to see who ends up edging ahead. My prediction is definitely going to be a 3-0 for Mighty, but we'll see what happens. Do you have any particular predictions for score for this one?
I think Miracle has a very good chance to. This is still a patch where Malfurion is still very, very strong, and Jaehyun is the one that's been known to play Malfurion for a long time. Maybe it's a bit of a problem too after the nerf, after where Malfurion is very weak, has a lot less heals. I think Miracle's going to have a trouble starting from the next patch 26, but still on 25.5, I think Miracle has a very good chance against Mighty today.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a solid chance for sure, better than RRR had. Obviously, we have some events here in Korea, but if you guys are watching this stream, you probably don't know how to take part in them, but if you can speak Korean and you want to ask a question, you can go to the Abathur interview and ask the players who end up being MVP for the match what what you want to ask them. So yep, probably you guys can't do that, but if you got a Korean friend who could help you translate, maybe you could get in there.
Yeah, it's worth it because you get a real life loot box, and in there are like stickers, badges.
I got one.
And the mouse pad, the long mouse pad, and
like
the t-shirt, and the umbrella with the Heroes logo.
Yeah.
That's sick,
if you spin it just the right way,
you will. Everyone will come into your umbrella and looking for that safe spot. But just try to get in if you want. If you want your real life loot box, I don't know if they're gonna ship it overseas though.
Well, mine was legendary for sure because it had all the things in it that you just described. I actually never posted a picture of it. I should probably do that when I get home. But it's a pretty sick loot box. It's part of my Heroes collection now of Heroes items I have collected over the years. So do, of course, get out there and hashtag HGC, though. Tweet the two of us. I'm Proxy Wolf. He's GClef89. I get it right this time?
You're right.
All right. Okay.
Finally.
It's like the first time I ever got this Twitter ID right. So we'd love to hear from you guys, of course, and get the word out there about Korea. I know it's at a pretty early time zone for most of the Western viewers, but we've got some good high-level matches here. Do have to give the caveat that, of course, the EU is the best region right now. But we will see if Korea could step it up going forward for the rest of this season. Going to Eastern Clash, will they be able to defeat China again? And what teams will go to fight at BlizzCon? That's going to be the big story. So as you can see, Mighty is up at the top here, but so are Miracle. They're all tied. All 3 teams with the 3-0 scores will actually be playing today. Tempest will be playing the second match. So first place team will finally really be further defined this evening. Again, it's still very early, hard to actually tell, especially because Black and L5 are not playing this week. They are the 2 favorites, the 2 representatives of Korea at the mid-season brawl. But when you remove those 2 teams, as they're not playing this week due to traveling schedule, you can see who's the best after this week. So Mighty will face off against Miracle, and then Tempest will face off against Raven. That will be our second best of 5 of the night. I have to give my own personal bias. I'd say that the first matchup is definitely going to be the more hype one. Yeah,
I agree. And both MVP Miracle and Mighty is trying their best to take this match as a 3-0. They both actually think they can have a 3-0 today. They always say it, but in a way. But I think the battleground matters the most because Mighty seems to be instead of macroing, they seem to be a little more team fighting oriented, and Miracle really having the MVP Black. They're really balanced in between having the globals and also team fights. So depending on the battleground, I think the result may change.
That's definitely going to be a good point, and the battleground choice usually goes to the winner because the loser will always take first ban, but we could see some potentially in this best of 5 specifically some map choices over first pick because of those stylistic differences between the 2 teams. Miracle having that really strong macro play, and You know, we'll talk about maps a little bit later, but I can already tell you guys a smart map ban came out from Mighty, just considering how well Miracle has played on a specific map that I won't mention until we have our graphic come up. But, you know, do tweet at us and tweet at the HGC hashtag what you guys think of the matches and who you think will win. I know that normally we have discussion threads on Reddit for the other regions. Would love to see some of those made for Korea as well, because people love to check it out and discuss the matches as they watch them. But let's take a look at the reformed Mighty here. Same interview we had on Friday. Check it out again.
안녕하세요. 저는 마이티에서 서브 딜러를 맡고 있는 마기 김진원이라고 합니다.
맞아요. 약간 번개구체. 번개구체.
시즌 1의 마이티는 좀 수비적?
전에는 좀 안정적이고 운영 쪽으로 많이 굴렸다면은 지금은 약간 다들 적극적으로 플레이하는 스타일이 된 것 같아요.
굿 선수하고 제가 들어와서 좀 더 공격적으로 변할 것 같아요.
BDG 선수랑 굿 선수가 새로 들어온 만큼 시너지가 저희 팀과 잘 나올 것 같아서 기대가 되는 것 같아요. 저번 시즌에 3등을 했으니까 3등 안으로는 들어야 되지 않을까 생각하고 있어요.
솔직히 말하면 지금 무서운 팀은 없어요. 다 맞붙으면은 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
저희 팀도 이번에 리빌딩하고 L5랑 블랙이 리빌딩을 해가지고 충분히 잡을 가능성이 있다고 봅니다.
시즌 1 때 마이티가 템페스트한테 져서 이스턴 클래시에 못 갔는데 이번에는 꼭 이겨서 이스턴 클래시에 진출하겠습니다.
Mighty coming off of their 3-0 victory, of course, over RRR in our debut match for Phase 2. And no disappointments so far from Good and SDE. Look to really gel with the team. Good is definitely the key player, quote-unquote. And his flashy plays we've seen all the way back since his time on GG, I think have really transitioned into Mighty quite well here at G-Clef.
And his 0-2, and the fight between Good and Dami, the melee assassins in both teams, will be the one to actually look out for, because their 0-2 and Genji plays are incredible, as we already saw back in Friday and Saturday. So that, depending on the picks, I think they will get to show their moves today. I think they can be very flashy. We saw some crazy Genji with the resets happening all over.
Yeah, watch out for Magi as well. I think he's very underestimated as a DPS player who will often play the split-pushing Falstad. Not as often these days, since Falstad is no longer top tier for the global. It's going to be the Dahaka that you're looking for more in that way. That would be good to play that hero. Joker is listed actually as the key player, even though we had Good listed last week. Joker has been the main tank player. Always an ETC main if you would put him on a main hero, but his last three picks, speaking of Nubrok and Muradin, his ETC has drifted slowly down to middle tier for warriors in the current meta. So the Nubrok is going to be important for him. Already showing good performances on the hero, though. I'm not worried for him, even though ETC is not really as viable right now. It's something that maybe he can keep up his sleeve going into the rest of this season. So definitely the favorites in this. They got third place seed last season, but perhaps their opponents will give them a run for their money. We're going to check out their interview here in just a moment. We saw it yesterday, but for those who missed it, check it out.
안녕하세요. MVP 미라클의 올라운더를 맡고 있는 스나이퍼 권태훈이라고 합니다.
저는 팀 MVP에 새로 들어온 MVP 주디라고 합니다.
맛있는 지금.
대현이 형을 지원가로 항상 생각을 하고 있었고, 주디 같은 경우에는 계속 탱커 중에 좀 어리고 가장 잘한다 생각해가지고.
미라클에서 좀 공격적인 플레이를 하는 탱커를 원하는 것 같았는데 제가 거기에 좀 적합해서 뽑히게 된 것 같습니다.
주디 선수가 전사로서 말이 많기 때문에 주디 선수 위주로 일단 많이 좀 게임이 굴러갈 것 같아요.
아무래도 탱커가 주도적으로 해야 되는 게임이다 보니까 저희 팀에서 제가 먼저 주도하려고 많이 노력하고 있습니다. 여기저기서 제가 많이 왔었는데 합숙이 제일 컸던 것 같아요. 합숙을 한번 해보고 싶었어요. 선수 생활을 하면서 숙소 생활 되게 재밌어요. 막 수학여행 온 것 같아요. 예상 성적은 2위 정도? 제가 들어가서 더 잘할 수 있기 때문에 2위 생각하고 있습니다.
리빌딩을 뭐 저희만 한 게 아니라 다 같이 했기 때문에 제 생각에는 그래도 더 잘 되지 않을까라는 생각이 좀 있어요. 대만 땅을 한번 밟아보자는 생각으로 최선을 다해보도록 하겠습니다.
기존에 있던 탱커보다 더 잘하는 게 목표고 꼭 더 잘해가지고 2등 이상 하겠습니다.
Well, as Judy has moved into Miracle, he now faces his teammates in Good and BDG, his former teammates, I should say. And as we talked about yesterday, the top 3 players, you could see him in the booth. Sniper, Crazy Moving, and Jaehyun. 3 of the old 5 TNL members in the roster now synergizing here with Judy. It's going to be a pretty sick roster. I feel like much stronger than what they had last season.
That's right. As Judy came in, it will be another interesting to see the frontline fights. Joker, of course, known for ETC, and also Judy, even from Blossom, he was known for lots of his ETC play, sometimes more than. So their hero pool, their comfort picks does overlap a lot. They were forced to really move into the Nubarak Stitches pick because of the meta. And Judy seems to be very comfortable, especially with Stitches. So maybe we'll see another Stitches play coming in from Judy today.
Dami's Illidan was pretty incredible yesterday too. His Sonya play was really nice, syncing up these CCs there with the Stitches hooks. Good Ancient Spear accuracy, very smart rotational play from the solo lane. Also threatening camps, we saw several times there, the neutral camps on Infernal Shrine. So Dami looking to be really in form, and it's the first time he'll be playing without Honkono in a long time, but still, already against RRR, they proved his worth. We saw some really good synergy with Jaehyun's Uther with the Illidan as well, so we need to look out for in the Miracle Draft is that Illidan play. They're not afraid to highly prioritize it, especially when they get Uther with the first pick. So this is something that Mighty will definitely have to really consider when they go into this draft is, you know, either take the Illidan away or prepare a draft that could deal with the Illidan play better than the team RRR that failed to do so yesterday. And look at this, Chiklev. The ban on Cursed Hollow. Miracle has excelled on this map so many times. Their macro play, their timings on this map, just superb. So I like to see that map banned away by Mighty.
That's right. It's one of the oldest map and one of 3 of the oldest member back from TNL. They know this map throughout. Even last phase with different members, still we saw one of the best macro plays on this map. I still remember to this day that the perfect game on Cursed Hollow, and Miracle and Mighty really knowing that they have really advantage. The understanding of the battleground is excel. So banning that out from the ban pool it's just amazing. And we still have Warhead Junction open. Korea did not have any Braxes nor Warhead Junction this phase yet.
Yeah, not yet. It's open. Definitely it could be a snipe pick that we see in this best of 5 if either Mighty or Miracle, likely to be Miracle, you'd have to imagine, will maybe go to it here. This does do well with Miracle's 2-boss style, their Illidan plays that can give them more mobility with the hunt. So it's definitely a possibility. It seems unlikely, but they did ban Braxis themselves, not the Warhead Junction. So with the Cursed Hollow ban, it is available. But we need to talk about Tomb of the Spider Queen first. The focus here so far at HGC Korea has mostly been on wave clear and early game heroes. We've seen RRR try to draft Kel'Thas here.
Miracle also played Kel'Thas yesterday, if I'm
That's right.
not wrong on that. And also, the only ETC that came out from Korea was in this map because of the lane controls all over that ETC has. Illidan banned, surprisingly, from the beginning.
So they jump into this one right away.
They're giving them the choice, Uther or Malfurion. Choose your pick, and the other one will take it. Might not even.
Could be the Genji first pick too, but you have to know that if you do that, you give the Uther away with whatever Mighty wants to grab with it. So I like the Uther pick here because I feel like Uther in this meta is flexible with so many different types of melee assassins, and just in general is good for protection of heroes that are trying to turn in. So I personally prefer the Uther pick in this scenario, even with Illidan taken away. But they are going to grab Stitches first. So this is...
And they still just pick Uther right in front because that's how powerful Uther is right now. That's because you give him solid armor when you heal your allies, and Miracle is not even thinking about Malfurion. This is a very surprising draft coming out from Miracle here.
Well, it would be more surprising if we hadn't seen them run compositions like this with Vala Ariel all season long for Phase 1, except with the exception of the end where we saw a big meta shift or strategy shift from them. But yeah, this is a little bit surprising. I thought for sure they were trying to bait the Uther pick because they wanted to have the Malfurion synergy there with the Stitches. Now they don't have much to pair with the Stitches hook with their current draft. Obviously, Detainment Strike can work, but that's a big if, depends a lot on positioning. So Mighty sees the Vala composition coming out, knows that they're looking for another Trinity protection here. They already have the Ariel, Uther's taken away, but they just want to remove Medivh. This may force Miracle into a Tassadar pick if they really want to go all in on the Vala. But the Medivh ban here is just to remove some extra protection.
That's also correct. I thought Tassadar was the obvious ban here. Medivh seemed like it was going a little bit more than the Tassadar. Let's see if that's going to work out. Maybe Mighty is taking, as you said, thinking about taking Tassadar themselves. But I think the banning on Greymane was pretty smart, limiting the damage of Cursed Bullet onto Stitches. And we saw Stitches and grabbing Tassadar because of the force wall. You couldn't really go against because Stitches has a very big hit scan. So oftentimes it was very hard for Stitches to really live in the front line.
Yeah, and next to Genji and Vala, the top tier range DPS is always going to be that Greymane, so especially when you have an Uther for the protection, the Cursed Bullet you mentioned, better to ban that one away. It was a pretty easy ban for Miracle. See Ragnaros come out for turn-in denial, and Tyrael comes in for some extra Genji protection. This could lead into a 5th pick melee like a Sonya for Mighty, but it's pretty unlikely given they already have the Ragnaros. You see Mighty do drafts like this before with Zeratul too. We'll see what they want to bring up their sleeve here is.
Are they thinking about double support here?
You're talking about Mighty?
I'm talking about Miracle.
Okay.
Ariel,
I was like, I don't think so, no.
well, they do have Detainment Strike, but no cleanse yet. And there are some CCs coming out from Mighty, and they're still hiding their 5th pick too.
Well, the Tassadar would be the way to go if they want to do that. Give the extra protection. That sacrifices a little bit of damage. Dahaka's going to come in for the split push again. They're going to go for the late game here with Nazeebo. I prefer this to taking a Tassadar here. And Chromie is going to come out for the 5th pick of Mighty. It's going to be the first Chromie of HGC Korea. So an interesting one. One that we've seen actually Miracle pick sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally in draft.
Yeah, that's also scratching their mentality there. But picking Chromie, but we saw Chromie as a counter to Vala Ariel sometimes back in MSP.
Yeah, the burst. Exactly, the burst can just blow her up. She only has the one support for protection. I like the Nazeebo late game scaling though, coming in for MVP Miracle here. They kind of switched up their draft towards the end. I think the flexibility they've shown here is pretty smart. Let's see if the Chromie pick works out here as we move into game number 1 on Tomb of the Spider Queen. In blue, it is Joker on Tyrael, BDG on Chromie, good on Ragnaros Uther, being played by Nasong, and Magi is on the Genji. That is Team Mighty.
And in red, MVP Miracle, Judy on Stitches, Dami on Dehaka, Jaehyun on Ariel, Crazy Moving on Nazeebo, and Sniper on Vala.
So no big surprises here. Crazy Moving will be the Nazeebo player almost every time, even though he's known for his Vala play. Sniper has shown it a few times in Phase 1. So not really a swap, even though Crazy Moving's Vala is a sight to behold. Sometimes you have to make choices like this when it's very obvious Crazy Moving's the better Nazeebo. Dami ends up eating a lot of damage here, but we'll be able to retreat and tap. So looking at talent builds, everything looks pretty normal and standard here. It's going to be the auto attack build coming out from Volley, even only with the 1 support. There's just no reason to try to build Q here.
If they go on AoE, and also a little counter, as I said, Odin is a big counter to the AoE healing coming out from Ario yesterday. The Dragon Breath does a lot of damage with the Sand Blast, and BDG is exactly looking for that because Ario does not have Cleanse. He's probably thinking of just doing Temporal Loop, try to find one that's out positioned and try to get a 1 pick. And when Miracle is looking for a pick, Stitches will be very out in the open. I think they can even take out Stitches with the burst damage.
As long as Dampen Magic is baited, there's definitely ways to make sure that that happens. Got to be careful about doing that though. If you want to use Stitches as your target, he's got the Dampen Magic up, then he's going to absorb the majority of that damage that comes in. Sniper under fire here, but they're just turning this around with massive amounts of spider damage. And we talked about this a lot at the end of last season. Oh, hold that thought. We're going to see the drag here onto Joker. He barely gets the Aldruins away. We talked about how Genji's somewhat soft countered by the DPS that comes out of Nazeebo because Deflect will only work against his damage over time temporarily. But as it wears off, the spiders just continue to do their damage. The tick damage comes in. Dami on point with the hooks today. Nasang is going to eat some real damage.
He can heal back anytime soon. And we saw Dami playing on Dehaka a couple of times, along with Honkono back in phase 1. So, and Dehaka is one of the strongest picks right now. Dami has been focusing a little bit more on the melee assassins though. Let's see how safe he is as he is in the bottom line. But talking about safety, Mighty only having one, not the most tanky front line. Tyrael, is that going to be enough? I think Miracle, if they just get the hook, I think damage is enough. They don't even need the CC.
Yeah, the damage is quite high. Even with Tyrael's passive spell damage armor, then, or spell armor is probably just the best way to call that, he's still going to get blown up very quickly if he's the one who's caught. And Ragnaros with no escape, Chromie with no escape. Uther, we'll see if he even takes Cleanse here.
We may actually see Gorge too because they do not have any escape except for Genji and Tyrael there.
Could still chain some CCs together with the Detainment Strike to get the kill or the Zombie Wall. Make sure that the escape is a little bit tougher. Look at these hooks from Dami tonight. Nasang is going to go down. That is 3 for 3 big hooks here. This time they finally get the kill. That's going to be first blood. Gem possession very even for these two teams, but Miracle's about to have enough for the full turn-in, just 2 gems away currently. This death is quite significant at this timing. Could push them into a lead if they can make it happen before the respawn comes in. Nasang's already on his way back.
Uther is coming back, so they need more sustain. They're just harassing, getting some pokes, and Miracle does have enough right now. I think they are about to turn in the rest.
Ooh.
There's a hook on the Ragnaros.
There's a Detainment Strike,
and
yeah.
stun. But the heal, Nasang came at the right moment to give their armor, barely survived.
Still, though, you can see the potential of what this combo can do on this map with all the walls and narrow choke points around the turn-in points. So, 8 gems to go now for Miracle for that turn-in. Unfortunately, without that pick, it's pretty unlikely they are able to secure it right now. They have more deposited, so this neutral game, we're going to see level 7 hit very similar. There's a potential combo onto Judy, but again, that Dampen Magic going to help mitigate the majority of that damage.
Miracle did hit level 7 first. Nothing unusual, as Miracle does need to get the burst damage to get the hopes to make it into a heal coming out from Ario. I think staying together and trying to look for those CC along with the hook is the most important thing. As you can see, the entire theme of Miracle, and they are just going to do that with the first web weavers coming in their way.
Push continues here in the mid lane. I want to prep that one first. Hook does not connect. Joker in good position there. Good has actually been pretty greedy in the solo lane, but because Miracle doesn't really have a big ganking hero, all they could really look for picks is the Stitches hook. I actually like that he's trying to eke out some extra EXP, get some extra pushes going. This mid push is going to go directly to the fort. The bot push with Dehaka is going to hit that bot fort wall very quickly. Dehaka pushes so fast, and Nazeebo's just getting extra stacks in the top lane. And obviously, as a specialist himself, will have a pretty good time against Ragnaros. And look at this, with Sniper coming up, they're going to get the wall. There's no ammo left. This even forces out a Molten Core. perhaps a bit too early here for Mighty to be using, or rather a bit too late. This isn't going to accomplish very much for them at all.
Either way, I think they were trying to clean up as soon as possible. I think maybe using the multiple beginning hold on to the Tamagi, it's Genji, so.
It's good.
But still, I think Ragnarok still has a lot of time before the big team fight, before the 10. I think using the molten core, rather just not use it to waste it. I think that was the choice from Ragnarok coming out.
Well, they end up hitting Judy again. Just doesn't take that much damage. Just forces a dash away from Magi.
Ooh, that
Pretty
was
good
almost
trade.
a panic dash almost. He could have went over the wall and killed himself, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is looking pretty good for Miracle right now. There's another really good hook coming in from Dami. As these tongue grabs have been very accurate so far. And he's been working a lot on that hero. This will be the pick. However, onto Crazy moving. Will he get the counter pick on the Magi? The Detainment Strike is good, but the heal comes in so clutch from Nasong. Game's super back and forth right now. Gem possession massively in favor of Mighty, but they don't want to lose a team fight sub 10 and lose all those gems carried, so they're being a little bit cautious, but nice pick there.
Of course, they need some more time, maybe extra wave from all lanes to hit that double 10. I was glad they got a pick onto Nazeebo. It could have been worse, a lot worse.
Magi's just harassing like crazy with a Shuriken Mastery. He wants to get those stacks up ASAP. And
he's also holding 24 gems on 23 gems on himself. So he also needs to be careful there.
Yeah. He's got so much mobility. In most cases, he will be fine, but one mess up, one mistake is all it takes. Judgment going to be the heroic of choice here for Tyrael. I like this choice. It obviously weakens the power of Dragon Blade a little bit, but can definitely be good solo target damage going into Vala, who did take Strafe. So we're going to be looking to target down the Vala with the combination of Chromie's DPS.
Yeah, loop into the Judgment with the smash will be a kill for sure. They're looking for a kill at least. Just like Miracle, they're looking for a kill at the same time. So because they do not have a cleanse, that's the biggest question for Miracle. They're really trying to punish because they do not have cleanse for Ariel. Does not have any cleanse on her talent. So really trying to punish that to bring the game for their side.
So close to a turn in here is Nasong. Will be interrupted by Dami. Looks like we're going to see the big commitment here. Even the Gargantuan coming out. This is not the combo they were looking for onto Judy. Judgment's still available. Sniper getting some free damage done onto Joker in the back with that strafe. Didn't commit to the Judgment. Didn't use the Divine Shield. Only the time loop there. Dami's going to get another turn in. Miracle's getting dangerously close to a double back-to-back Webweaver push. 7 away. Not 2 away.
Sometimes
don't do math on stream.
Don't do math on stream. That's the lesson I learned yesterday. Judy gets caught. Even Judgment, all the damage coming out to Judy only, and does get the kill. Even Dragon Blade
and
on
the Divine Shield.
Crazy Movie gets very low, but seems like Magi could not get the kill at the very end.
Yeah, very cautious there was Magi, but this is still a great pick for them. It's going to give them their first Webweaver push. And even when it stitches, if you have all that CC coming in, the burst damage coming in from Chromie and Ragnaros' Sulfura's Smash, you get blown up no matter what. The first few hits we saw, you could see Dampen Magic taking effect. Stitches is pretty tanky, but eventually as that wears off, the rest of the DPS comes in. You get the pick, and that's all they needed. So they've got a lot of EXP to unlock here. And with the gateway mechanic of EXP in this, the full fort wall, for example, is going to help them get 13 first. Look at that. That's the kind of combo you need. You want that to be onto Sniper. You want it to be on the squishy Vala before the protection can come out. Jaehyun could have used the Aegis there, but might have been a dead at Vala either way because Aegis still makes you in a stationary position, so Chromie could have just timed it right afterwards. That's part of the reason why the pick is so strong against the Ariel composition.
Also, if you use up your hero, you have to wait until the long cooldown later on. I think he was... You have to make a choice within the like 0.3 seconds that you have time for in the game. So it was a very tough choice for Jaehyun, and he decided not to. Maybe he's looking for the team fight later on.
Well, Sniper respawns pretty quick. And as you can see, because of the comeback mechanics with all the keep walls, or sorry, fort walls, Mighty will get a whole EXP lead ahead from this. They were staying even in soak all game long. Even when The Weaver push was there for Miracle. Looking for the double turn in, and they will get it. No way for Miracle to deny. Part of the reason why is Dami was split pushing bot, trying to get that fort kill. But Sniper coming back into the fight a little bit late too because of the death there. Gives Mighty the free turn in. Gonna clean this up. Dami not even able to get that bot fort. Still got a decent amount of ammo left. Here we go. Here's the combo once more. Sniper will get Aegis this time. That's when you have to use it. You have to use it at exact timing. It's on a similar cooldown to the time loop itself, but you have to be really confident there. You have to make sure that there's no follow-up, because if the smash comes down anyways right afterwards, you can find yourself in the same trouble situation.
Chromie is really being a threat to Miracle, as their range is all they're depending on is the hook from Stitches, nothing else really. And the positioning of Mighty, because they do not have so much frontline warriors, which they do not actually need because they can just poke from the side from so far away. And you see Magi is the only one in the front. In case you get hooked, Magi can just dash away anytime. So great positioning overall coming out from Mighty's side.
Yeah, Mighty making this Chromie pick really valuable now. Nearly getting another combo there onto Vala, even without having the time loop available. Turning on her AP boost there at level 14. She gets her talents 2 levels faster than everybody else. Nearly would have been the insta-gib, as they say, if she had actually connected there. So they're going to get 16 first with this top fort. Nothing really that Miracle could do about this. They are soaking as best as they can. They're kind of sitting back and turtling. You get the double objectives back-to-back like this on Tomb of the Spider Queen. The game can snowball a little bit. And Miracle just needs to make sure they can keep these keeps alive. They need to survive to 20 to get that Bell Infusion coming out for Nazebo.
Ooh, now that's teamwork.
That's a triple Web Weaver push. This may actually cause them to lose one of those important keeps. Sorry, I don't know why I said Fell Infusion. I meant Vial there. So, anyways, Nazebo's big boost of damage at level 20 is what I'm referring to, Vial Infection.
Well, that's exactly... Mighty has the counter against Vala. Vala wants to have the team fight, really wants to have the team fight, have a long team fight, trying to have as much as damage as possible over the time when she can do all the auto attack damage. Mighty, they don't even need to fight. They can go around when they are chased. They can just pop that Molten Core and turn things around with all the pokes possibly. So that's exactly what they're doing. I think they can win the game without such team fighting. See, look at the kill score. Only 4 kills in this game.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this combo is good. Nope, Aegis comes out. So well timed, a heroic for a heroic. It's not going to be there to protect anyone who gets judgmented if that happens, but the siege is real here. They're just playing this safe, trying to use Chromie's zoning to allow, as you can see, Magi just come over here, do some extra DPS to these turrets. If you use a deflection, there's no ammo. Finish these turrets off, just slowly gain value from this push towards 20, not force the team fight for them, as you said. Crazy when eating some damage there. He actually took Ice Block, of course, to be able to dodge some of those, but could have maybe even taken Superstition. But you know,
okay, man. Superstition did get some nerf.
That's true.
To it onto the percent, I believe, like 50 to 40. I think.
The problem with taking Superstition is it doesn't give you protection against that big burst that comes in with all these CC combos. It does give you longer permanent protection against the spell damage. But I like the Ice Block personally here because it's going to give you protection against when the Judgment comes in. You just press 1 and you laugh. You need to make sure that you have somebody to protect you after that, or you might get hit by the Chromie combo. But you know what I'm saying. It can protect you against the Chromie combo as well.
So you can also dodge lots of... Well, rather than taking the damage right on top of your face, like smash, you get less damage with the Superstition, but still just evading everything, not taking any damage would be the best option. Of course, it does have a pretty long cooldown, but
yeah, there's definitely arguments for both sides, I would say. I personally am on the Ice Block camp, though. So we're going to see Dami get the sneak turn in here. There's nothing they can do to deny boss. They're coming up now, but it's just a little bit too late. They realize this. They know this timing is not going to work out in their favor. Tough to boss contest against all the CC on the side of Mighty. Plus the extra damage you could see coming in from a Dragon-Bladed Genji who has the Divine Shield in that small area. So I have to give props to Miracle for just biting the bullet on this one. Going to mitigate the boss damage with the Web Weaver turn in. Dami's not getting any split soak done, unfortunately, with this, though. which is somewhat concerning. So they're going to just kind of waste the gems because they need to do something to prevent the boss from going directly to their keep. But this bot push isn't even necessarily going to get the bot fort. They lost a lot of EXP from having everyone at top to defend the boss. And now 20 is on the horizon here for Mighty, as Miracle still carries 115 gems. Okay, Hook again on the wrong target. You can take what you can get, but not what you want in this case. A lot of stuns coming in here onto Judy. They actually commit to the Gargantuan. So do see a hook come in onto Joker.
That's a good trade. Also, Bio used already.
Oh, and the combo here, forcing out the Aegis. Well, we see Judgment. This is what I'm talking about. Use the combo to bait, and then you Judgment right onto the Aegis. Good teamwork here by Mighty. Now they've got the Molten Core, and this is going to be a near full team wipe.
That was perfectly done, just using the temporal loop to draw out the Aegis, and then everything else together right on front. Judgment and Smash and Dragon Blade together to do the rest of the damage. When they know they do not have any protection left, that's the timing you go in. Mighty seems so perfect with these executions today.
Well, now it's going to be a keep at least. They look to go for core here. Crazy moving. Doesn't have that scaling just yet. We're only 17 minutes into the game. He doesn't have level 20. Not going to have those extra vial stacks to help him out in this fight. Just no way he alone can buy time. Vala pops out here. Stitches is up in a second. So will the Ario, but it won't matter. 7 kills to 1. Mighty with a rough start into the game. Coming back, finally utilizing Chromie there, having the synergy with the CCs coming in and all that burst damage. Really well played. And it's just unfortunate. Crazy moving was on the Nazebo there. Perhaps Sniper's position could have been a little bit more conservative in some of those fights because, you know, he was the one who was getting looped very, very many times. It's not a super short range, but it's short enough to where perhaps he just shouldn't have been caught that many times with the loop itself, because that forced out the Aegis early. And in that last fight that won them the game, the Judgment came in, the Smash was on point. The synergy here from Mighty, gotta give it the thumbs up.
On top of the point today, as you guys saw on the screen, the last team fight, it wasn't even a team fight, it was a stomp. Basically a stomp. It was perfectly done. And Miracle, also the exact reason why Korean teams bringing Nazebo, Sergeant Hammer had lots of troubles in MFC is because they're looking for the late game. They are really not trying to fight from the beginning, and they're looking for the late game when the other opponent is looking to fight from the beginning. They're looking to have the advantage, snowball their lead from the beginning when you have Nazebo on the other side. If you're not 20 and your opponent is like 22, then how can you even win the game? The game will be over before you hit that 20.
Yeah, so there we saw some very aggressive Chromie plays. There weren't any heroes on the side, unfortunately, of Miracle that could punish the Chromie or punish Ragnaros, who was solo laning, getting a lot of extra gems, getting a lot of lane pressure done in the top or the bottom lane, depending on where he was. So they didn't have any mobile harassers. They didn't have the Zeratul. They didn't have the flexible solo laner that could go and look for picks. And it's because they went for the Vala composition when they couldn't get really exactly what they wanted there with the double support. They shifted the draft away from the Vala. They went into the Zebo there, but in the end it wasn't enough, and the burst was just too well timed. The Judgment coming in instead of Sanctification really obviously weakened Genji, but it didn't matter because they got picks consistently, whether it was on the Stitches or whether it was on the Vala. Every single time they used the heroics in conjunction with each other, so it made it a 5v4 or a 4v3. And then Magi came in with the Genji and the Dragon Blade, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, it was really hard for Miracle to actually engage into Mighty at the same time because they did not have too much mobility. Stitches, Nazebo,